Oh yeah, hello everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the RnRGzrs show. This is our end of the concert season review, where we'll be going through all the different concerts. We saw 15 concerts this season. We reviewing the concerts we've seen and what we thought about the venue and the weather and all sorts of good things. Give our best of, worst of, all that good stuff. And I'm your host, Murph. And of course, the guy who went to 14 or 15 concerts with me. Anyway, that would be my co host, Doc Box. How you doing, Doc?
Doing all right, doing all right. Yeah, a little different kind of a show this week. We'll catch up on the news next week, but for this show, yeah, got a lot of shows to go over. And now we gave our reviews as we went along, but just kind of encapsulating the whole summer and giving general impressions of each show. And yeah, can't wait to get into our best ofs and worst ofs, and that should be fun.
It
So
was
yeah.
really, yeah, it was quite an interesting season, I must say. Real diverse. We started out uh, with the headliner Janet Jackson, who brought along with her Ludacris and was that it? Did she have anybody?
Yeah,
Give a
no, that was just
DJ?
it. Yeah, there was a DJ, but there's nobody of no, just yeah, DJ off to
Okay,
the side. But
right. And so, yeah, Ludacris started out strong. Good start of the concert season. He was. I remember tapping my feet quite a bit, and he had a few little gimmicks on stage. And I'd say I remember the crowd getting well into it. The big crowd already before Janet even took stage, but yeah, he was not bad. Did you when you were a DJ? Did you have to play any of his music back then?
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it came up from time to time. Yeah, early two
Yeah.
thousands. I was when I was going, and so was he. So yeah, yeah. General impressions. Yeah, it's ludicrous. It's kind of a big name. So yeah, there's a decent turnout for him, and it was entertaining enough, I suppose. But the show itself seemed kind of, I don't know, sloppily kind of put together. Kind of I don't know, just kind of
Well, let's slide right into Janet
yeah, yeah,
because it's the same thing. It was just a very odd show. Janet came on. I was expecting, being that she's basically a superstar, that she'd have a really amazing production. Like just a really big Hollywood production, and it really wasn't that. It
no,
was she came out with I think five dancers, and for most of the she started out slow. That was the big problem with my situation. She came out with like four slow songs, just real mellow, and it's like Ludacris had them all pumped up for you, and then you just sort of
yeah.
slide down into a slow groove, and I don't know, it was just very odd.
Yeah, I kind of got the impression that kind of there's a large percentage of that crowd to she could do no wrong.
Yeah,
Just by being
Big-
there, that was enough, and that was fine. But for guys like us, they're kind of there to see a show and see what it's all about. Yeah, it was disappointing to say the least. Packed house, absolutely packed house.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Being the first show of the year, the venue definitely had some bugs to be worked out at that point. It was a madhouse getting in there, the most chaotic scene I've ever been part of. I thought there
Yeah,
was going to be a riot. I thought a riot was going to break out at one point. Man, it was horrible.
yeah.
But
It was
obviously they got
something.
those issues worked out. But yeah, for the first show of the year, yeah, a little lackluster. Could have been better. Was hoping for better, but yeah,
Yeah, you're right though. We slid right in front row parking, and it didn't matter because we got in. We walked into the outer gates, and it was mayhem. There were
yeah.
lines fishing out to the snaking out to the parking lot. It was just crazy. So they didn't have their act together at all.
And then
And
there really wasn't even well formed lines. It was just like people, an
yeah,
open lot, gates, and people, and that was kind of
yeah, for sure. It was yeah, it was too bad. But and Janet, like I say, it was a lackluster night. Not just not a lot of energy. The people
no,
were ready. I mean, they were ready to go, and they just didn't. I just thought they didn't think they got much bang for the buck. There were no
no,
musicians online.
right,
A minimal light show. It's like they just rolled in with a laptop, plugged it into the PA, and boom, did their thing.
And here's
And
Janet. Yeah.
good choreography all night. Her and their dancers. I mean, they must have spent months and months and months getting a whole night's worth of exacting choreography down. But that's just not enough. I don't know. Just
Yeah, I recall whenever she would make a big dramatic dance move and the crowd would, go up. But that was kind of the extent of yeah. But yeah. We saw Janet Jackson though, so there you go.
yeah, there you go. So I'm a member of the legendary Jackson family. So can't go wrong with that. And then next up, concert number 2. We saw Shania.
Oh, before we get into that though, the first concert, the Janet Jackson, was end of May. It was a Memorial Day weekend,
Like the
and
30th or something.
yeah, 29th, something like that, yeah. And then we only had one show scheduled through the month of June, and that was Three Doors Down with Candlebox. And that was one of those shows where the lawn was to be closed and we were to get tickets to go in, and it just seemed like a really messed up kind of situation there. And we skipped out on that one. So we didn't go to a show for the whole month of June.
Yeah.
And then we picked up early July. I believe it was the first, maybe even, I don't know, first couple of days in July with Shania Twain.
Shania Twain and Priscilla Block. Priscilla Block, never heard of her. A singer, probably a songwriter, guitarist, country, just put on a good show. She's for the larger crowd. She was a larger lady and she just rocked her ass off, I'll tell you what. And the crowd dug it. And no complaints with Priscilla Block.
My memory of her was just kind of the country Lizzo kind of, lot of larger girl and a lot of body image acceptance speech that she did a lot of between each song, I think, pretty much.
Yeah,
and had a couple songs that had that message to it too. So yeah, a lot of that. And then the Queen came out.
Holy cow! There she is. That's her outfit for the night right there. That's what we were looking at all night long.
Yeah, that's
she
it.
Was holy cow. She's Shania, man. She's upper echelon at this point. Holy cow! Big crowd. A very diverse crowd, the most diverse crowd of the year for us. We didn't realize. I didn't. Maybe you realized. I didn't know she had a big gay following, and that's cool. She's following the footsteps of Cher and Tina and all these gals.
Right.
They somehow get a big gay following, and they showed up. And my only bummer was the appearance of Daisy Dudes, which are Daisy Duke shorts worn by dudes.
That's right. We were introduced to Daisy Dudes at that show. Unfortunately,
it was horrifying. Yeah. It was. Yeah. And then they slid it up the side. The Daisy Dudes up the side. Now there are plenty of Daisy Dukes there. A big representation all around. Like I said, a complete, a really big, diverse audience, and
a lot of Daisy Dukes and cowboy boots. Yeah,
she played a lot of great songs. I recognized most of them because she was a big MTV gal back in the day, so I recognized a lot of her songs. And man, oh man, she put them on well. She can tell she's not being fake. She hasn't done a lot of work, a lot of plastic surgery. You can see the lines in her face and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she's aging gracefully, even though people were complaining that she was dressing too scantily. But, us guys, we totally approve 100% of the scantily dressed female situation. And she pulled it off very well. She actually fell once. She went hopping across the stage and boom, fell right on her ass. And it just gave a smile and a giggle and got right back up and boom, right back to the show. So no big whoop, but good for her. Good for her. Really a real good presentation,
Yeah, that was another one, packed house, packed to the gills. And one of the more interesting crowds, that's for sure. She it was not just her, but she had a couple dancers, male dancers. They were like kind of cool. I remember they had a big part in the show, and yeah, she had the full show. It wasn't like a Janet Jackson just kind of coming out with a couple dancers. You know, she had the
Brought out some strings at one point, some strings. I mean, she brought out some tables. She actually, at one point, they had, she put up like bar tables on stage with some, couples, diverse couples sitting there. She'd go to each table, get between them. The picture would be taken, and she'd go to the next table, and it was just a really solid, good night. It was really a great evening, I must say. Good old Shania. Moving on. Now you didn't go to this one, Doc, because you were. It was unfortunate, and quite I didn't even.
Where you at? Hey, you're skipping over there, one Chief.
What's that? Loverboy, Foreigner?
No, next one was Snoop Dogg.
Oh, man. We're going to Snoop Dogg. Jeez, here's another. Here we go again, Doc, with the DJ. I got to complain about the DJ because he had one of those DJs that will play one verse of a song and then boom, scratch, and then go to something totally different. So you could never get in a good groove. And that was really annoying. What was that? What was his name? The DJ? Do you even know?
Oh, no, it's just, some random DJ guy. I don't think there's anybody who knows or anything.
And then, this whole show, it was really something. I wanted to give it a shot. I was very excited to see Snoop. I thought, all right, this is going to be groovy, and it was like what, 4 bands: Burner, Warren G, Too Short, and Snoop.
And Wiz Khalifa was in there as well.
Geez, all sorts of guys.
So, it was a 5.
It was a cluster. I don't know what this. All I remember really much about was the unbelievable F-bombs going on with one of them before one of the opening acts was just going off and totally disrespecting the females in the crowd. It was horrible. Saying stuff like, hey, if I tell a bitch go up and get me a beer, that's respect. I'm showing her respect. It's like, wait a minute, what kind of world am I living in here now? That kind of weird ass stuff, and I just didn't jive with it at all. I wanted to, but I don't get that genre. I don't get the raps. I don't get it all. And then Snoop came on, and it wasn't much to it, Doc. There wasn't. I don't know, man. It was a disappointing night. It was an eye opener for me because check out the rap genre and see what's going on. But I didn't see a lot of entertainment value there, really.
Yeah, it's too bad for your first hip hop show to be disappointing like this, because I've seen, I've been to tons of bands.
You've seen great ones.
Yeah, I've seen some really great hip hop shows, Public Enemy and Cypress Hill and a few of them. So, Too Short was the guy that was just a lot of bitches suck my dick, a lot of that. And then, of course, going on to explain, why I say bitch suck my dick is because, whatever. Don't try to justify. Don't try to justify. You're a dirtbag. Just get off the stage.
Gosh.
And I remember Wiz Khalifa was a little different. He was just kind of more pop oriented and had more of kind of a stage show to him. So I'd say out of the 5, he was probably the most entertaining, actually. Snoop Dogg, again, just being there, Snoop Dogg was fairly enough for most people.
Going through the motions, yeah.
The one thing I really remember really odd at this show was there was no audience acknowledgement. There was no applause after songs or even after sets. Guys were walking off stage and it was just like everybody's going about their business, man.
Background music.
Yeah. It was very, very odd in that way. Yeah, it was very odd in that way. And of course, Snoop came out and again, not a musician in sight for the whole night. One of those kind of deals, just kind of low energy, and I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I expect I've come to you expect production. You really do. If you're especially with the main act, you expect a real good production, and I guess they're just sort of grooving along.
Well, that was another one too with the venue. There was issues with the venue where we're coming in. I'm a cheap ass. I bring my own water in, and they told us that we could bring water in, but we couldn't have lids on the bottles.
The caps off. We had to take the caps off of our
It's the
water.
most bizarre thing. I don't get it. No other. None of the other shows did it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think that was a case of an overzealous security person misinterpreting the policies, and that's I kind of think what happened there. But overall, it was kind of a down evening. Like I said, I got to see Snoop Dogg, and
it was an eye opener, but it wasn't. I wasn't
interesting
excited.
crowd. Good people watching for the night. You know, it was like people were bringing it. They were dressed to the nines, and they were bringing it.
Oh, so that was cool.
That aspect, it was a good evening. But as far as the performances, I have to say a thumbs down. Thumbs down on Snoop Dogg.
Oh well. You know, we're rockers though, so you know. When it's in your veins, what do you do? You know, moving on. Now, here's the one you couldn't make. That would be.
I decided to not see Foreigner again after last year.
Oh, Doc. Nonetheless, I went because I knew I had to do my part to make a report for the show. So, me and my buddy went. It was Foreigner and Loverboy, and. So Loverboy opens up, and I'll tell you what, they were really good, and you know why they're really good.
Can I chime in real quick here?
Sure.
Just because I didn't see the show or anything, but I just read this morning a review of Loverboy by none other than Ricky Rackman.
Oh yeah,
our buddy Ricky Rackman, and he was not as kind as you are.
To what, Loverboy?
The Loverboy. He was very upset that they weren't doing any hits. He said, "You guys got so many hits," and I was there for like. I
wonder what they were doing. They did
know.
all their hits with. They did every. I knew every song they did. My original review.
Yeah, reading what he said, it was so contrary to what you had said that you had saw.
What the hell are they doing?
I thought it was interesting. Yeah,
no, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, if you get a chance, or I get a chance, I'll send that to you. I don't know where I saw that.
No, he's full of crap. I don't know what they were doing, but every song they play, I knew it.
Right,
I knew it. You know, so I played a few of them too in bands. So and basically every song they played, I knew. And the thing about Loverboy is 4 of the 5 members are original, and the one that isn't original was actually in the band before they got famous. So it's basically an all original band. And you can tell by their comfort in playing, and their you tell they played these songs a lot, so they were just kicking ass. And I don't know what he's talking about. I recognize pretty much every song, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that, sure. And then, another great song. It's like, so I don't know, Ricky. Maybe you've been.
I think he made the comment. I wasn't loving every minute of it. You know.
They did all their hits, so he must have been on some, I don't know, fentanyl or something, for Christ's sakes. Get it together, pal. Come on, because they had it together. And then, of course, you didn't show up, and that's only because of the Foreigner, the cover band Foreigner, on their quote final tour. Which, by the way, we'll have some more information in next week's show about Foreigner, but. Getting back to this show, of course, they played every song pretty much exactly like you expect to hear it, but it means so little when they're saying it's a farewell tour of a cover band. So, it doesn't pull a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But, like I say, they did every song pretty much as you expect. And, whatever. They need to call it quits, but, we're going to talk about them a little more next week. But it was an all right show. What you expect from them at this point, but not one original member. So here you got Loverboy with pretty much all original members opening up for a band with no original members. It was a very odd dichotomy, if you will. But nonetheless, Foreigner, Loverboy. Then the next show I couldn't go to, and that would be Avenged Sevenfold with Alexis on Fire and Kim Dracula. So tell us what you think there, Doc, eh?
Yeah, that day was a freaking scorcher, man. For health reasons, Murph wisely sat out, and I'm I'm glad I went, I guess, but yeah, it was it was quite uncomfortable there for a while, to say that. But
Hey,
yeah, good crowd. Lawn was going not full, but three quarters probably. Yeah, Kim Dracula came out, just your garden variety, trying too hard, kind of new
yeah.
metal, kind of whatever. Yeah, I could have done without that part. But then Alexis on Fire came out, and I've heard of them. I know they've been around for a while. I knew nothing of their music really, and I was quite impressed. Quite impressed. I'd say of the
Excellent.
opening acts of the bands I was unaware of, this would be the band that I will keep with me for a while. I definitely check them out again.
Oh,
And then Avenged Sevenfold, and they had their new album out, and their fans are enforced, dude. They're some very passionate fans, man.
oh
Very,
boy.
very, very, very passionate. Great stage show. Great on the monitors. Where we're watching up there, which are
Right.
all important to us. And they had a lot of cool effects, like we've seen with some of the other shows later on
Sure.
too.
Right.
And they had that, and yeah, M Shadow's pretty decent front man, I gotta say, man. He's he was polished but yet spontaneous, kind of, it's kind of, you tell he's been around. There's some issues. Remember, Sinister Gates had some injury prior to that,
Right.
but he seemed to be okay. He was rocking out pretty good. It was a really great show, man. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad to hear
A
that, man.
very well tattooed crowd there. Let's put it that way.
Excellent.
But
Yes, yes.
yeah, good night, great night.
Very cool, man. Oh, moving on. Uh, next concert we went to was Brett Michaels with Night Ranger and Jefferson Starship. This was this where we started our pavilion stand where they
Yes,
closed for like 4 shows in a row. They closed
yeah,
off the lawn and they made us sit in a pavilion. So we made the most of it on this show. Real quickly, let me recap what I did. Is uh, I was on the Live Nation app on my phone, and they're showing what seats are available, and I'm wondering. I would just for the heck of it, I looked on the Live Nation and see what seats are what are the closest seats available. Sure enough, there's 2 resale seats available, third row. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, these people might not even come if they can't sell them. And sure enough, after they were still available when the sale stopped, the sale of the tickets stopped. So I'm thinking, oh man, them 2 seats are available. So how can we get up there? So I'm watching the ushers who are letting people into the lower sections, and they're sort of a group will come up and they'll check the first 2 tickets, and then they just let the rest of them roll in. So I'm thinking, let's go, man. We're gonna just hook up with a group. Sure enough, we hooked up with a group. They checked the first 2 tickets, and we just walked right in with the group. So we go down to section 103, third row. We drop on in there, and it's not real. That's the thing about being up there. I was crunched in between
yeah, they
Doc
squeezed
and
you in up
another
there,
big
man.
guy,
Yeah,
really squished. So we're watching Jefferson Airplane for a couple of songs, Jefferson Starship for a couple of songs, and all of a sudden an usher shows up. Can I see your tickets? I knew right away we were busted. So we just got up and walked off. The walk of shame up the ramp. I was laughing so hard.
yeah,
But
giggling
sure,
the whole way. Yeah,
I imagine the people who wanted to resell the tickets didn't resell them, so they probably decided to come. So
yeah,
that was so funny, though. We got this third row. We I set out for a quest. We executed a quest. We succeeded at the quest, and after a couple more songs, I probably would have bugged out anyway. It was just too crunched up there, you know.
yeah,
And so we went back to wherever we were sitting. We were picking our own seats because there were so many seats available back in the end of the pavilion that we just grabbed our own seats. We had good seats. It was a good time, but it was quite a cool adventure just to see how far we could get, and we got quite far. So the Starship was all right. They were not bad at all, and local Chicago singer, Kathy Richardson, singing with
right,
them, doing a real good job. They had some old guy there who's been with them forever who
right.
really blew singing. He just way too old to be singing these songs. But moving on with that, Night Ranger. I really like Night Ranger. Original drummer, original guitarist, original bass player, and quite a good set. I remember you mentioning how good Jack Blades is at controlling the tempo, controlling everything.
Oh yeah.
Great lead singer, front man, boom. Just a really quality set they put on. Of course, Christian Sister, all the great songs. They did some damn Yankee song, one or two damn Yankee songs. They really they rocked very well,
Yeah,
very
to me
well.
they were the highlight of the night. But yeah, you may remember too. This was the first of the four shows, as you mentioned, where we had to go in the pavilion. But the way they had it set up was you come in, using your pass, and then there's a guy standing up at the top of a ramp, and he's got the tickets to hand out. And that line was as far as the eye could see, man. So yeah, Murph and I were we're not about to stand there. So figure, yeah, let's go grab our seats, and
We'll grab some seats
somebody grabs it, we'll move
we'll
somewhere else.
move.
But yeah. But we've
Yeah.
got the after we had our little and it was a great plan. It was executed perfectly. Like you said, you just kind of walk down, act like you know what you're doing, flash your phone, there you go, just walk on down. Yeah, the security's top notch.
That was
And
excellent.
yeah, so we got busted or whatever. But yeah, they said that was Starship. Yeah, I was gonna mention the guy David Freeberg, who was not an original. I guess he popped in around 70, I believe, 1970. So obviously they've gone through. Airplane had their big hits by then. But yeah, 84 years old. So that makes him the oldest performer I have seen. Prior to that, I saw Jerry Lee Lewis at 82. So now at 84 years old, this guy, and he sounded every bit of it too,
Yeah,
man.
it was not good.
Yeah, it was not good. He should not have been out there. But
Yeah, yeah,
and then
man.
yeah, Night Ranger kicked ass, and then
Yeah,
and
and then
then the
comes
Bret
out
Michaels Party Gras.
Party Guy. Here he comes, Brett Michaels. Yeah, hi, I'm Brett Michaels. Yay! He did well. We were talking about he's in good shape, but he's a diabetic big time. So I think he brought a couple singers with him, just probably so we could take an occasional break through his set. And it was what was the singers? Who are the singers, Doc?
They had Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray, so he did a medley of their hit. No, he did a couple of hits they had, and then they had Steve Algeri, who was one of the replacement. I believe he was right after Steve Perry and Journey, but he was one of the replacement singers in Journey, and I thought he sounded great. I thought he was a great addition to the show. To me, Mark McGrath kind of seemed out of place and really didn't do much for the flow of the show, kind of speak, I guess. But yeah, I thought Steve Algeri was great, but yeah, it's
It
okay.
was all right. And then Brett Michaels came out. Yeah, he's doing his thing, and all I remember about that night was the bad mix. They had some lower
Oh yeah,
frequency that kept
yeah, I
humming
remember. Yeah,
all night long,
that's right.
and it was driving me crazy. God Almighty! And they never got rid of it through the whole night. They had that one low frequency that kept showing up every time he'd hit a bass drum or anything low. It was just horrible. And we thought, well, maybe it's just because of the fact that we're in the pavilion. It's a big area covered and whatnot. So who knows? But then again, next concert up, we went to Boy George with Berlin and Howard Jones. And I gotta say, this was
Oh,
a
one note, real quick, to close up Brett Michaels. You remember? I didn't think too much of his band. Remember his band they put together there? They were a bit lacking. I don't know. They were just kind of like drinking buddies of his or what. But they it seemed like he could have rounded up some better guys there. But anyway.
okay. Moving on here, Boy George.
Oh yeah.
With Berlin and Howard Jones. Howard Jones opened the show. Wasn't a real big crowd at that point, but man, he put on a great show. He still got a great
Yeah.
voice, even from it was a big MTV thing back in the '80s, and he still got that voice, and he put on a good show. No drummer, the drums were all
Right.
computerized and whatnot, but
He had the
he's
Chapman
very
stick guy. Remember?
Chapman had the Chapman stick there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
very talented. Obviously, all the keyboards, the keytar, and my only bummer was that the bass player was from Kajagoogoo, so they had to do that stupid song "Too
Oh, that's
Shy,
right.
Too Shy,"
Yeah.
and that just it almost brought me down way early in the night. But I dug up the intestinal fortitude to see through it, and we let that song roll. But Howard finished strong, great
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
and I'd see him again if he comes back for sure.
Yeah, you
And then,
realize he's probably got what four, maybe even five songs that you recognize. And like you said,
yep,
there was a whole big crowd at that point, and shame on them, man. They missed out because
yeah,
it's definitely a
very
good
good.
opening set. So yeah,
And then after that, Berlin, which really surprised me. You know, 'cause I'm familiar with obviously the Metro. You know that funky little goofy little song, and a few others, but her band is a rocking band, and she's a rocking chick, man. She's in great voice, and boy, did they put on a fantastic show! Wow.
yeah, her vocals were top notch. I was stunned. She can belt it out with the best of them for sure, man. So yeah, really good show. I was kind of thinking, who would be the opener, who would be the second band? Could be Berlin, but no, Berlin definitely the better show, and nothing wrong with Howard Jones set, but
Sure.
Berlin definitely kicked it up a notch or two. So
Yeah, yeah. And then Boy George come up, and which
yeah,
quite honestly, I was not there to see Boy George, and we stayed for about a half a set, and the Culture Club, which is actually the band, the
right.
Culture Club, but they were in top notch form, man. Let's face it. He had some great female vocalists with him, and from what we heard, everything was spot on,
Oh yeah,
excellent. It's just not our cup of tea. We stayed for a
yeah,
little
no,
over half the show,
yeah, a
so
little very well polished though, man. Yeah,
oh
for
man,
sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, top notch musicians, and yeah, it was like
yep,
a almost like a Vegas kind of review kind of situation. But yeah,
yeah. Boy George really kicked it well. So that's all I got to say about that. All right, moving on. The next show, really mind blowing, and that would be one Government Mule. Government Mule with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience opening for them. So
Led
yeah,
Zeppelin evening.
Led Zeppelin
Yeah,
evening.
I
I
always
know.
want to say experience too. I know it
Yeah.
seems like it should be that, but yeah.
Either way, very good show. You'd expect nothing less from Bonzo's son, and they brought a great show. Got a great guitarist from Japan, Jimmy, Mr. Jimmy. Got
So Mr.
actually
Jimmy, or that was Mr. Tommy.
no, Mr. Jimmy. He's got
Jimmy
a
Page. It's Mr. Tommy doing Jimmy
is it
Page. Yeah,
Tommy? I thought it
I
was
think so.
Jimmy. Whatever. Great Japanese guitarist. Basically the same amp setup, the bass and the guitars, same amp setup as the original Led Zeppelin. Everything pretty much the same drums, and they put on a really great show. And Singer did pretty well considering he has to
Yeah,
follow up Robert Plant.
the
So,
Golden God. Yeah.
what do you think of it, Doc?
Yeah, it was pretty good. They had a fifth musician there, was kind of off to the side. He was doing a second guitar and the keyboards when needed and stuff, so kind of filling out the sound. But yeah, it's Jason Bonham's son, man. It's John Bonham's son, Jason. So yeah, he's not gonna mess around. This is gonna be top notch. Yeah, they got that guy that later we found out was kind of a big deal, Mr. Tommy. Yeah, he's kind of filling in on guitar. So yeah, they kind of focused on earlier Zeppelin. I'd say I don't think they did anything past physical graffiti, but it was mostly earlier stuff. But yeah, good solid way to open up the evening.
Yeah, and then Government Mule comes on, and this is what blew me away, man. Government Mule, boy, oh boy, I wasn't expecting what it's his name is Mr. Jimmy
Is it Mr. Jim? Where am I
Sakurai,
getting Mr. Tommy?
Mr. Jimmy Sakurai. There
All
you
right.
go. So yeah, but anyway, Government Mule, Warren Hayes on guitar. Uh, we didn't, we knew they're going to play the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. That's what stoked my interest was in playing the Dark Side of the Moon. And boy, oh boy, what a he comes out with his Les Paul and they do some songs where he's just ripping on the slide. Just you can the guy's a master. You can tell. Just one of the greats on slide and doing these great songs. And then they whip off into some Pink Floyd, and boy, I don't know where do you start, Doc? Where do you start?
Yeah, they kind of started off. They did kind of a little mini Government Mule set. I don't know what, 4 songs, maybe something like that. Something
Maybe a
five,
few
maybe.
more. Well,
Yeah,
but
But yeah, he had a little jammed on for a while, and then yeah, we knew they were going to do Dark Side of the Moon, but they started off the Pink Floyd part. They had some other songs too. They did "Shine On Crazy Diamond," is what they started with, and just hitting those first notes, all the place was up for
Yeah.
grabs.
Yeah.
And top notch. I'm not a big guy on light show. You know, I hear people, oh yeah, great lights. To me, that doesn't make the show, but it can definitely enhance the show. And in
Holy
this
cow.
case, oh my god, perfect, stellar, whatever superlative you want to throw in there, man. This is probably the best light show I've ever seen. And
Unbelievable.
yeah, they just get the idea that yeah, obviously yeah, the big Pink Floyd fan and wanted to do it right, man. Wanted put it on top notch, and they sure did, man. So
It's
yeah,
amazing. They had haze generators everywhere, blasting the haze through everything. And once
yeah,
the lights kicked up, you knew why. It was just an amazing lights, the kind I've never seen before. You see some of them behind me, but that's really
yeah,
nothing. That's just
yeah,
yeah, whatever.
yeah,
The real light. Uh,
yeah,
if you
top
get a
notch.
chance to see Government Mule, do not pass
Oh,
it up. You will. Oh, you'll be. They did. Like I said, they did Dark Side of the Moon. The big gig up in the sky. Oh gosh, they had the
yeah, they had
gals
the.
singing it.
Oh my God, yeah,
Two gals singing it, going back and forth, and it was like amazing. It's
yes.
easily. Yeah, it's just yeah. It's a must
One of
see.
those face melting moments. Yeah, for sure, for
It's
sure.
definitely a must
So
see.
yeah,
So definitely big times on that. That were surprising because I really wasn't expecting that at all. But they really brought the show. So good for them. Next
and
up,
that
that
was
was
another lawn closed, and this
yeah,
and then as well as this next one was the final of the four. So we had four right in a row there with the lawn closed.
yeah. Next one was what Mudvayne, correct? Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Mudvayne. Oh, geez, they had the Butcher Babies opening up for them, and Butcher Babies, sweet gals, kind of gal you I probably wouldn't bring home your mother.
all right.
But nonetheless, the hair flinging and the screaming vocals and whatnot, all through their set. Again, another situation where I couldn't understand any of their music because the mix was really poor, and there are a lot of drop B music. So the lower
Yeah,
the frequency, the more everything spreads out, and it just becomes mush.
yeah, just
And it was
muddy. Yeah, just
muddy,
very
yeah,
muddied. Yeah,
yeah, and it was sort of that situation with Butcher Babies, but
yeah. I just thought they were kind of gimmicky, a little bit, kind of,
well, that's their thing. They're both swinging their head in the same
Yeah,
way, and her hair, it's like, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
okay,
But
cool,
you see
more
why they're
power to.
starting off the show of five bands, but
Yeah, but God bless them. God love the ladies, and when they get up there and rock, you gotta love the ladies.
they sold a lot of T-shirts. I'll give them that. I saw a lot of Butcher Baby T-shirts. So
Well, by golly. And then come a band Non-Point, never heard of Non-Point. Uh, yeah, they're good, a basic hard rock band.
nondescript. Yeah,
Nondescript, unforgettable, forgettable. Never really heard of them before. Probably won't hear of them again unless they
yeah,
they latch onto another tour down the road. But good opening act. Nonetheless, and
yeah. It's kind of odd 'cause I remember this show. My daughter went with us, and she said, "I think I saw them before, but I don't remember much of them." And now I'm feeling the exact same way after seeing.
right,
Yeah, I saw them, but I don't. They're kind of
I
like
don't
Chinese
remember.
food,
Well,
man. Yeah,
yeah, I don't remember much anything, and I definitely don't remember much about them. But then, oh boy,
Oh
then
yeah,
Guar. Then Guar comes on stage, and that's when we knew everything was in trouble when they started putting plastic over everything on stage, and
yep,
the front, the plastic everywhere on the monitors, on the stage, on everything. And
yep.
sure enough, I'm sure people out there have seen Guar and know what we're talking about. They start. They just spew a lot of fake blood and a lot of fake everything out into the audience.
Yeah, fake bodily fluids of all
Yeah,
sorts. Yeah,
all night long. Great band. They got a great backing band, couple guitars, bass, drums, really tight unit. And they got to play with those goofy ass helmets on and crap.
right.
And then the singers are just ridiculous, spewing stuff all over the place. It was just wow. I feel sorry for the people in the front, in the
Oh,
front
they love it
section
though.
there. Yeah, but it was a cold night. It was a raw night. Now they're wet, and
Yeah,
it's like, oh boy, good times. But Guar did what you expect. They spewed, blood all over everybody in the front rows, and wow, what a gig! I guess they brought out fake Putin's the big Putin guy.
right.
They had some big characters come out, and they cut his arms off, and he spewed blood through his arms into the crowd. It was just
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. Just my takeaway from it, obviously, other than the obvious, I guess, seeing a Guar show was just how good of a band they are. Really, I didn't expect, you just kind of expect them to be real gimmicky and just all show, but no, these guys can play, man. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Good on them. And then next up was Cold Chamber. Four-piece band, singer, guitarist, drums, female bass player, which I love female guitarists, bass guitar down there, just the best. And I knew a few of their songs. I used to listen to Rebel Radio overnight when I was picking orders for PPG. I'd listen to Rebel Radio on the AM, and they played a lot of that stuff. And I remember Cold Chamber very well, and they kicked ass. Of course, it's the whole night was building up to Mudvayne, and Cold Chamber was a good basic opener, basically the opener for Mudvayne,
right.
and but once again, basically unforgettable, just good hard rock. But unless you're a Cold Chamber fan, I won't remember anything about it really.
Yeah, I just know they've been around for a long time and fairly polished set. Yeah, female bass. That's kind of for a while there. That was kind of the in vogue thing was they have a female bass player. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's, for what they were not my cup of tea, but
it was all good.
it's all
And
good.
then of course Mudvayne. Now we've seen them before,
Yeah,
and not unexpected. A great show. Chad spent most of his time either kneeling right out in the front of the stage or actually in the crowd with the
yeah.
people. He doesn't spend a lot of time standing up, running around. He's basically kneeling down right out there by the people all night long. And
Mulling about, yes.
they put on a good show, but it is what it is. But yeah, yeah, very good for them. And then after that, and the heaviness continued because after that we went and saw Godsmack.
Well, real quick on the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we saw him before last year. They opened up for Rob Zombie, and then this year they're doing the headline thing. So this kind of the group they put together bands to go out with. But yeah, it was kind of the metal night. We had a couple metal nights throughout the season, but yeah, for what it was okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then the
He's
next
pretty
one,
good. He's a pretty good front man.
yeah, yeah.
I enjoy him.
All right, and the next one would be Godsmack and Stained, and Mix Master Mike. Ugh. Oh boy, everything would have probably been fine, Doc. Everything probably would have been fine that night if they wouldn't have had that jerk Mix Master Mike. Jeez, what was he? He was a Beastie Boys. Was he the?
Yeah.
Oh, this was the DJ with the Beastie Boys. I guess is his claim to fame. And this is the most annoying son of a bitch in the DJ industry, I would imagine, Doc. You being a proper DJ where you actually play full songs, and here's this jerk.
If there's anything worse, I don't want to know about it, man. Honestly, this was an assault to the ears. This was an assault to my sensibilities as a music lover and listener. This was every fiber of my being was wrong with you. This is just, yeah. He comes out and he just played. Oh God, he was all over the place. He was playing like '90s stuff and hard rock and just you name it. And he had the effects and was just hitting random effects. It was just mind blowingly bad, and I can't imagine why they had him on the tour.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
maybe he had some pictures of
Yeah,
Sully Erna with
yeah. There
I
was
don't
there
know,
was some sort of
lost
something
a
going
bet
on
or
there.
something. Yeah,
He owed somebody something, but he was just
yeah,
totally horrible. And then Stained come on, and Stained, great song, great band, yeah, and great songs, but they're all depressing. He just sounds like gosh, he's so depressed. I don't need depressing. all his lyrics, it's like he's whining them out. Knock it off,
Yeah.
dude. Get something nice and lively. Jesus.
Cheer up,
I'm
Aaron.
on the outside. I'm looking in. I got trouble. One of them, but no, I'm on the outside. And it was a great, great band. Great song. He sings great. His voice is good. He screams real well and everything. And it was a good rocking night, but it just seems his lyrics are such a downer.
My takeaway, he just seemed to be kind of, I don't know, phoning it in a little bit, kind of disengaged. There was a lot of dead air in between songs where he could have had some sort of stage banner. And then it was next to last song. I think he came out, oh, yeah, I guess I should say hi, Chicago. It's like, dude, there's been dead air between that just really stuck with me. It just kind of seemed like,
So he is depressed.
yeah, he
Okay.
wasn't really engaged with the crowd too much. Let's put it that way.
That's right. Yeah, he was depressed. Okay, yeah. And then where are we here?
And it is literally what he said. Oh, I guess I should say hi, Chicago. I'm not just trying to, add emphasis to his depression or whatever's.
Yeah, yeah. And then Godsmack came on, and I liked him. I liked his voice better than I do on tape. All his studio stuff, his voice annoys me, but live, it voice takes on a whole different timbre, and he was really rocking well, man. It was very cool. So yeah, oh, and when he and before Godsmack even start, they had that jerk off DJ come on and do his
Oh
thing
my god!
on the back screen.
I forgot about that.
And it's like,
Oh my god!
can't
Yeah,
you really? How much money do you owe this jerk?
yeah.
Where you're letting him do this?
Oh my
This
god, I
jerk.
forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. It's like we
God.
thought we'd seen the last of this guy, and then he pops up again on the. Yeah, they went in where they have the curtain in the front, and then they do the curtain drop, which I'm real fond of. I enjoy that. And so yeah, they had his vision or whatever his
Yeah.
video up there doing it. Oh my god, it was horrible. And yeah, as far as Soliana, pretty decent front man. I was pretty
Mhm.
impressed.
Yeah.
One thing my takeaway from that was the way he set up the new stuff. And usually, oh, I hear something from a new album, and everybody, goes to the bathroom or whatever. But no,
Right.
yeah, I know you guys want to hear some new stuff, right? You want to hear something from the new, you know what I mean? The way he set it up, I thought was
Good
was
for
pretty
him, man.
good. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah,
Godsmack, good
overall the
time.
whole evening, yeah, but
Yeah, it was all right. We got to move on because this
oh
this
yeah.
is here we go. Nickelback. We went to the Nickelback concert with Josh Ross and Brantley Gilbert. Okay, here we go. Now listen. First off, wow. We pull into the venue and we notice that the lawn's already half full, and we're our usual 40 minutes early. So we know that this is trouble. This is something else. So actually, though, we got front row parking and everything's. We moved right through the line. Got around 3/4 of the way up on the lawn, and this was the most bizarre night that we've had. It has to be. It's just. Well, let's just slip through the first two real quickly here because we got a lot to talk about. Josh Ross and Brantley Gilbert. They're a couple of country rockers, harder rockers. They got a little harder edge on their country stuff. They're good bands, great, excellent bands for what they do and everything. But we got to spend some time talking about Nickelback. Number one, when he got there, Doc, talk about the crowd when we got there, man. The crowd was insane.
Yeah, Brantley Gilbert, he everybody kind of knew his songs. They were singing along to all his stuff pretty good. So he's kind
All
of
night long.
For a country guy, seemed to be a good fit for a Nickelback opener, and they got into it. But yeah, the crowd's the biggest crowd of the year by a long shot. I wouldn't say a long shot, obviously, but yeah, by a noticeable amount, largest crowd of the year, and by far, the drunkest and most intoxicated crowd I think I've ever been a part of, man. It was unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
I guess if you go to a Nickelback concert, you got to be wasted, but I don't know, whatever.
it was the craziest crowd. Everybody already, everybody, singing. They were singing Josh Ross, singing all Brantley Gilbert's song, and then Nickelback came on, and it was everybody standing up on the lawn. You couldn't sit down anymore. There was rivers of beer flowing down the asphalt.
All right.
Everybody was so damn drunk, and I was totally disappointed with Nickelback's set. It
Yeah.
was more like a bar band.
Yeah.
Geez, it was embarrassing. Well, not embarrassing, but boy, it wasn't. There wasn't much pardon me. There wasn't much polish to
Yeah.
that show.
Foster Brooks going on over there.
Well, I'm digging my margarita here, but there wasn't much polish to the show. It was like a bar band. In between songs, he's hollering out, like, table 3, your pizza's ready. It had that feel to it. And I thought it very odd, but boy, the crowd was
for a major band. I use that term major, I guess, loosely, but
yeah,
probably the worst stage banner of any front man I think I've ever seen. He just thought he can go up there and be spontaneous, but you're not good at it, buddy. You're not good at it, and you need to have something preset and polished, and go with that, because yeah. And then like the guitar player would chime in from time to time, and their stage banner, it was not good. I didn't like it. It was bad.
Yeah.
And but
yes,
yeah,
it was. Yep. They, yeah, no, of course everybody knew all the songs and stuff, but it was just so unpolished. And then at one point he went on like a 10-minute rant about, hey, it gets pretty cold in Chicago, doesn't it?
yeah,
it gets pretty cold in Canada too. Yay! It's like,
yeah.
what the hell's going on? Shut the hell up. This isn't a bar,
Yeah.
It was a very odd night.
I guess that's his way of relating to the crowd, I suppose. But
geez,
yeah,
I guess. But then
very awkward. But everybody there, they know the simple songs, and they sing along to them. They played them just like they always play them.
I just expect more of a production out of the main act, out of any concert I see.
Right.
Okay, moving on though. We got to move on here. Uncle Cracker opened for Leonard Skinner, who opened for ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Uncle Cracker, yeah, harmless, good rock, good set, just I don't know, just a forgettable set in my
Yeah, he did
opinion,
all the
but
songs that and he did a Kid Rock all summer long. He threw that in there and did all these other things, and 5 o'clock somewhere, all those, So that's kind of what you expect from Uncle Cracker. And then Leonard Skinner came out and opened for ZZ Top. And I got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed Leonard Skinner's set, man. They did just about every song you would want them to do. I could think of one or two, but that's my own taste. But yeah, very, very well polished. I mean, these guys, they've been doing it a long time, and it shows, man. It was, very well put together show.
Then right out of the blue, they whip out Curtis Lowe. Ballad of Curtis Lowe.
Oh,
boom! Sort of does it for me, man.
Yeah,
Curtis. Are you kidding? But yeah, you could tell it. Yeah, their love of the music. It was just, and they honored all the members past. They did a real nice tribute to all members past. It was just very very tastefully
solid set for sure.
Yeah. Good for them. And then ZZ comes on. And I was sort of perplexed here. They came out with this goofy bass on the first song,
right?
And then he went and set it down and got an actual real bass guitar, because this thing's just annoying to even look at. But ZZ comes out, and I it was all right, but they had a bad mix for one thing. They had a fourth member. I figured I figured they were either playing to a click, which I wouldn't believe they'd ever do, or they had a fourth guy sitting back there, and they had to have a fourth guy behind the stage playing some extra stuff. Because every now and then I could hear a rhythm guitar, and then I could hear a note that's like, where'd that come from, So I knew that, but it was very weird mixed. It was a weird set, Doc. What do you think about it?
Yeah, ZZ Top. I'm a big ZZ Top. The first concert I went to was ZZ Top. I got every album they've made. Well, not every one, up through the 80s anyway. And I was very much looking forward to it. But I gotta say, I think Skinner should have been the closer, man. Just they got that bigger stage presence, man. They got that 3-guitar attack, and I love Billy Gibbons, and but just that 3-piece was, I think they should have switched them around. But they did all their songs that you know and love, and some that you don't. They did remember 16 Tons. What do you get? That seemed like an odd cover they threw in there, but
yeah,
it
was all right.
And
before I forget, Leonard Skinner did their set, and they walked off stage, and there was one song they forgot to play, and they knew people would be hollering it out. So sure enough, the one song they didn't play was Freebird. So finally, people had the actual reason to scream out, Freebird! You know, and everybody's hollering for Freebird. So they came out and their encore was Freebird and they smoked it. So there you
Now
go.
they got started, right?
Yeah. Well, we ain't got time. We ain't got time. But we do got time for the Offspring. The Offspring was the next one we went and saw. And playing with them was Simple Plan and Sum 21. Yeah, you want to give
41.
your Sum 41?
Yeah.
Go ahead, give your 2 bits there, Doc.
Yeah, man. Definitely a show I was looking forward to. You know, I'm kind of more on the punk side of things, and haven't seen the Offspring before. I saw Sum 41. Simple Plan, didn't know too much about. Well, I knew of them, played some of their songs DJing, but I thought they had a really great set. I'd say from top to bottom, this is one of the better lineups from that we saw. I mean, all 3 shows were pretty top notch, man. Real good crowd. They had a crowd of that certain age that really got into it, and
big crowd.
Big crowd that were really into it. I mean, it was a good crowd. I mean, I were there. They weren't all just drunk and crazy like Nickelback, and I mean, they were enjoying the show and really, enjoying it. It was a good crowd, man. A good time, real good time.
Yeah. Same here. Good for them, man. Yeah, big crowd, and yeah. We love watching crowds. The different crowds that come for the different bands, and this crowd was ready to rock, and all night long they got what they came for. It wasn't like a Janet Jackson thing where you're sort of like, well, where's the good time? I mean, these all night long, bam, 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 one good song after another, and then we moved on to Disturbed with Breaking Benjamin and Ginger. Let's start out with Ginger, man. Ginger, a group from Ukraine with a female singer, and wow, she's one of these lovely lasses that can sing like an angel. I mean, just a voice of an angel, and then she screams and growls like a devil. It's just amazing. She goes from one to the other so fluently. A lot of drop tuning stuff, and just a rocking good time. Well, I imagine you thought about that too, eh, Doc?
Yes, it was a decent enough set. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
This whole show pretty much one thing is just say, I'll go check it out, but not one of the ones I was really looking forward to, but enjoyed it nonetheless.
And then Breaking Benjamin comes up. I've seen him a couple times already, and I'll tell you, this was the best. I saw him front row and saw him, I don't know, some 13th row or whatever, but I dug them back in the lawn, man. The thing about Breaking Benjamins, they've got 3 solid vocalists, and they sing very well, and they put on a really rocking good set. I was really impressed. I hope to see them again next year, quite honestly. This time was the kicker for me. The 3rd time was the charm for me, man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I didn't do too much for me. The 2nd time we saw them last year with Rob Zombie, so I kind of knew what they were about. And crowd enjoys them. They
Sure.
definitely got a following for sure. So
Oh yeah.
but,
Okay, let's move on though, Doc. We got to move on to Disturbed, because this was disturbing, I must say. Disturbed, they come out, they're rock. They come out right out of the gate. They're rocking hard, rocking real good for about half hour or so, and then as far as I'm concerned, the wheels fell off, Doc. The wheels fell off. They did. Well, I'll let you take it. You remember, right? You remember the PSA and all that,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
lay it
Yeah.
on us, man.
Well, now we talked about it when we did the review, so I won't rehash it too much. But there's a section in the show where he comes out, David Draymond comes out, and there's a PSA on suicide, depression and suicide, standard kind of thing up on the screen. Then they do the song, and that's the message of the song. And he gets done finishing the song, and they're just sitting there. It's kind of an acoustic kind of thing. They're all sitting on stools, and he just starts sobbing uncontrollably. The shoulders are heaving, and just the uncontrollably sobbing.
Yeah.
And then goes into about suicide and how it's taken all of his friends, and Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, and then he goes into what I can only describe as a Shakespearean soliloquy about one dark day in February, I almost joined them, and yeah, it just kind of goes into a whole thing, and it was very awkward, and just what do you call it, the biggest group therapy session you'll be part of. It was just not what we were there for, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Rock and roll is our group therapy. Going to a concert is our group therapy. We don't need to hear depressing tales of
Oh, well, see, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, Doc. I really was.
Right.
I thought, oh my gosh, he's destroyed. This song's destroyed him. He can't take it anymore, and he's telling the crowd, if you've suffered from a depression, put your hands up. Now look around at each other, and I'm thinking, what the hell's this crap? But yeah, he jeez. I don't get it, man.
Come to find out, it's a carbon copy of
yeah.
show.
Oh, exactly. Because I went and checked out some other shows on the tour, and he does the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Lights are zeroing on him.
Yeah.
Everything's zeroing on him. It's like, geez,
I'll never be able to do this song and keep my shit together. Yeah.
After like the 30th time, it's like, come on, man. Really, come on. This is the 30th time. Of course you can do it without crying out loud. Are you that depressed? Jeez. Go to a mental institution or something.
But other than that, take away great stage show, man. The pyro was, we talked about a couple stories where they set off sprinklers a couple times on this tour, and we definitely saw why, man. They pushed the bounds, man. It seems like they're trying to do it.
They pushed the boundaries. Yes, what they had was they had 3 light bars that you could move up or down. 3. They had one, then one behind it a little higher, one behind it a little higher, and these bars all the way across the stage, they could adjust them, do all sorts of weird things. And on the bottom was lights, on the top was flame, and they'd shoot them way up toward the top of the venue, and big plume of flame. So that's how they they started out the sprinkler systems. So we got lucky, they didn't set them off, but that was a very impressive light show. That very, very cool light show. But Disturbed, come on, we don't need therapy sessions. We just need good hard rock and roll. Yeah. So we're moving on.
Which for the most part they delivered on, but yeah. Had that little side thing there, but yeah.
Here we go. Rob Zombie. He was our final concert of the year with Alice Cooper, Ministry, and Filter. And a good night. Good crowd. Filter. They're all right. And no big whoops there. Did a half-hour set.
They were an opening band, yeah.
Yep. No, just there for basically backup music while people are loading them. So, and then Ministry comes on, and I really had a problem with Ministry, because they didn't use the cameras for us lawn folks. All we got was
like a multimedia animated presentation.
Yeah, we got animations on the screen, so we couldn't see anybody on stage because we're so far away up on the lawn. And on the screens, they got this goofy animation, which I was annoyed at that. I want to be able to see the band. And they're an industrial rock. What they do is called industrial rock, and I can understand it now. It just chugs along, and it's like something you'd hear in an underground club, the grinding beat. Everybody's on ecstasy and shit, and boom, 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 and it was all right. But I'm annoyed not being able to see them. Not being able to see the band instead of having to look at his goofy animations. But that's what he wanted to do. So that's why he's playing third instead of first in my book.
Right. Yeah, kind of uneventful. Like I said, a second time I've seen him. Both times they kind of have some radical messages. One time I had the song "Goddamn White Trash." He kind of has some radical messaging in some of the songs. But,
boy, yeah. Oh well. But we got through him. And then the legend, the icon, the man himself, Alice Cooper. We were able to see Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper is never a disappointment. Always got, his band is top notch. Nita Strauss is back in the fold, so they're back to full strength, and they put on an outstanding show as always, Doc. They
Yeah.
always
Oh
do.
yeah. Yeah, Alice don't mess around, man. He knows how to put on a show. So yeah, he does exactly what you want him to do.
Yep.
Did the guillotine, which is great. I hadn't seen the guillotine. I saw
So, yeah, yeah.
the noose before, but
I
this
saw the
time at the
news, yeah,
guillotine.
because he
Yeah.
opened up for Judas Priest in '88, I believe.
Uh,
Operation Rock and Roll, and he did a new send. So now I've been able to see both, which is very nice.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
oh yeah, top notch, top notch. Alice, he does everything. Everything he does is top notch, man.
yep, he's the man, the myth, the legend. So he kicked some serious ass. And then on comes Rob Zombie himself, the man, the myth, and yeah, yeah. It's a good show. If you're into zombie, he puts on a good show, and this was okay. Yeah, I dig some of his music, and some of it's just sort of whatever.
You know what's odd that earlier you said this is your third time around with right
Just a little sneeze.
your third time around with Breaking Benjamin, and how this time you really enjoyed it. I kind of had the same thing here with Rob Zombie. This is the third
Yeah.
time I've seen him, and I definitely enjoyed this one the most. However, in your picture there, John Five's in the band, but as we know,
Yeah.
he's not with them anymore. But yeah, it's solid, solid. It's the same kind of show, but it's just a little different. I don't know. Just I seem to
Yeah.
enjoy it a little more this time.
Yeah, it was good. He's always got a quality band, and he's got and the times I've seen him, yeah, he puts these like 4 foot by 4 foot by 1.5 foot tall platforms up in the front of the stage, and he just jumps from one to the
Yeah.
other all concert long. He's just all over the place. So yeah, he's digging what he's doing. Big crowd, people are digging what he's doing. So that was a good way to end the 2023 summer season, Doc. It was very cool, man. So now let's get down to the brass tacks. We haven't talked to each other about what is what.
Nope.
Hang on here. Let me get there we go. There's a backup.
I have inklings of your opinion, but I do not know, sir.
A mellow. Okay. Okay. We're gonna start with oh geez, what do you think was the best? What do you think? Should we start with the best show of the season or the worst?
Let's go worst. Let's get the worst out of the way.
Yeah, let's go with the worst. I had a trouble with this one. It was I was stuck between two of them, and that would have been Janet Jackson or Snoop Dogg. And I just gotta, I gotta say, Snoop Dogg is the most disappointing concert for me.
Well, I got worse. You think of the worst single was obviously Mixmaster Mike was the worst single.
Well, I'm not looking at the single, no.
But as far as for the whole evening, I had four shows were kind of, I guess, the nominees: Janet,
won,
Snoop Dogg,
yeah.
Nickelback, and Godsmack. and I gotta go overall, probably Godsmack.
Really?
The Mixmaster Mike thing, Sting just kind of just rubbed me the wrong way, and Godsmack still the owner kind of impressed me a little as a front man, but that was really the only highlight of the evening, I think. So I'm gonna say this is a Godsmack show, man. Yeah.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm stunned. Well, I'm not. Well, who'd have known? Who'd have thunk? Okay, let's think about what was the best show of the season, and I'll start this sucker out. This was sort of a tough one, but I'm looking at it as the unexpected. It was an unexpected surprise, and that's got to be Government Mule for me. That was the biggest surprise of the night. I enjoyed that so much. And the bad thing, well, we'll talk about that next. But I think Government Mule for me was just mind blowing.
Yeah, again, I kind of looking at different ways. Which one would I have a really good time? I had a really good time at Leonard Skinner, but again, the whole evening, just kind of they were the highlight. As far as all bands, the Offspring, that was a really nice set. But yeah, I'm gonna say best show. I'm gonna agree with you, man. Government Mule was the best show that was
amazing,
man.
Just quality all night long. Yeah. Just unexpected.
Not to that level, that's for sure. Yeah.
And sadly, let's move on to the next category. The least attended concert was the Government Mule concert. So the people really lost out on that one. They really messed up. If you
Yep.
had a season a pass in the lawn and you passed on government mule, you really missed out.
Yep,
That was
shame on you.
just
I gotta agree. And
uh,
and the thing of it was, if you remember right, that was there was a stretch of 4 shows, consecutive shows,
yeah.
which the fourth one was Matchbox 20. We bowed out on because it was rainy and it was the fourth show in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so I mean, maybe that kind of threw a few people off. But yeah, shame on you
Boy.
because you missed a great one.
Yeah, that was excellent. Boy, oh boy. And the most attended show, disappointingly, was
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yeah.
Nickelback, a bunch of wow. That was wow, wow. That's all I got to say is wow. So much beer spilled. It was unbelievable. These people are so drunk right out of the gate and spilling their $20 beers or whatever the hell they
Right.
cost. It's unbelievable the
Right.
money flowing down the thing there.
Right.
But best light show, best light show.
Or government
That
mule.
government mule got to be
Yeah. Yeah.
government
Yeah.
mule.
Hands down.
There's no way
Hands
around
down.
it. With disturbed a close second, but government mule was
I was
if you get
gonna
it.
kind of look at the crowds. Obviously, yeah, the drunkest crowd was Nickelback. I was.
Yeah.
What do you think was the best crowd?
Oh, geez. Oh man, that's a tough one. The best crowd, I'm gonna have to say, in terms of the Offspring crowd
Yep, I agree.
was a
Yeah,
really well balanced crowd, just
yep,
really having a good time, and yeah, I got to say that
yeah, I
Offspring
agree.
really
Yeah,
brought
just
it, man.
had a good vibe about it. Yeah, it was just a really great crowd. Most interesting crowd, you gotta go Shania Twain.
Oh
And
yeah,
by far the most interesting crowd.
the Daisy Dudes, that right there, would set that sucker up because yeah, that was mind blowing, and all these crowds were excellent. Some of them drunker than others, obviously, but
Right.
it was very cool. Lot of haze in that also they had haze generators at on the Snoop stage, and I was wondering what the hell would they need a haze generator for when this whole place is smoky. But it is what it is.
Yeah, the crowd is self hazed. That's for sure.
Oh man,
I'm gonna say a couple other ones I'd like to get your opinion on.
sure.
What did you think was the best vocal performance
Oh,
of the
gee,
year?
creepers. Boy, that is way tough. I don't know. I'm in love with Shania. I'm just in love with her velvet
Okay,
voice, man. Just love it.
I'm
And
gonna go with another gal. I'm gonna say Terry Nunn of
Terry
Berlin.
Nunn,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Boy, the gals, yeah, yeah. They both
yeah,
brought it. They both
yeah. She
brought it
belted
big
out great.
time.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah, Shania just velvety. Oh my goodness, just a great voice. And she showed us her panties all night long, so that didn't hurt that either. So way to go, Shania. If you come next year, I'm there. Anything else you got there, Doc?
biggest disappointment and biggest
Oh,
surprise. Biggest disappointment and biggest surprise.
biggest disappointment. Gee, many creepers. Oh man, that could be a tough one for me. Well, probably ZZ because the mix
Really?
was so bizarre and it was just I don't know. It was just disappoint. You talking main groups or just everybody?
Well,
Because
yeah.
I was well,
Mine's the
actually,
main group.
my
Yeah.
biggest disappointment was Brett Michaels, just because of that damn mix was so horrible that it detracted from everything,
Well, plus,
everything else.
on that tour, I didn't bring him, but it just seemed like he was trying way too hard. He had this is his inaugural. I assume he's going to do this every year now, probably. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe not. But this is his party gras tour. I think he's just trying way too hard and trying to justify having Mark McGrath out there. I don't know, but that
Well,
didn't
the
work out.
mix,
But
if you remember though, the mix was just so
yeah, that's
bad,
pretty
and
bad.
there's no excuse for
To
that. And
me,
it,
biggest disappointment was Janet Jackson. I
yeah,
was
I
really,
have to
really
say,
hoping for, really hoping for a great show there, and kind of fell flat a little bit. So
yeah, we expected the big production, and there was really very little production at all. You bring your laptop, plug it in, let's go do some dancing. I'll sing, and boom, it's done. It's like,
yeah,
well, okay,
I'm Janet Jackson. Damn it! Yeah, that's pretty much it.
but nonetheless, it was a great season, man. second season. First season we did last year. We did 12. This year we did 15. We'll see what offers up next year. But heading into the fall and winter months, and looking forward to the Crazy Rockers bringing us all sorts of crazy rock news because it never stops. The crazies out there. Next week we got a lot of catching up to do. We're gonna have a pretty fast-paced show because there's gonna be a lot of rock news we need to talk about. But until then, man, we'll see you. So, what do you say you take us home, Doc?
Yeah, thanks for taking the ride with us. It was kind of fun, man. Rehashing, going through all these again, man. Just remembering some of them, and yeah, it's kind of fun. So glad you're with us. Remember, we'll be back next week doing what we always do, giving you the rock news. Yeah, there's already some good items. Can't wait to get into. And yeah, until then, everybody have a great rock and roll filled week. We'll see you then.